as you all know, we made a move at the offensive coordinator spot, and it was I went through a long process, thorough process of interviewing a lot of great candidates, college and pro candidates, and I'm thankful for the McNairs, thankful for Nick Caserio and his help, their involvement in supporting me through this process, and man, I couldn't be more excited to welcome Nick Caley as our new offensive coordinator. Right, he brings a wealth of knowledge, smart coach. He's coached on the defensive side, offense, coached multiple positions, worked with a lot of different people, various schemes, not just beholden to one scheme. He's very well versed in run game, pass game, protection. Like, he's well versed in it all. So very smart coach, very energetic guy, great leader. Everybody I talked to about throughout this process had nothing but awesome things to say about Nick and his approach, the players that he's coached. Like, there's nothing but rave reviews about Nick and how he's helped guys in their careers. So I'm excited to work with him. I can't wait for our players to get here and work with him. I know they'll feel his energy, feel his excitement, and what he's able to bring to our team. So with that, I just want to welcome Nick Caley as our new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I appreciate it. DeMeco, I just want to, it's great to meet everybody. I'm extremely thankful for the McNair family, for Coach Ryans, for Nick Caserio, for the opportunity to be here in Houston. Really looking forward to getting going and excited to visit with you guys today.
If you can introduce yourself when you're going to ask your questions. Go ahead, Christy.
Hi, Christy Regan from the Associated Press. I guess a two-part question. First, how eager are you to work with C.J. Stroud? And as a first-time offensive coordinator, how do you hope to put your personal stamp on this offense?
Yeah, well, nice to meet you. To answer your first question, I'm very eager. Excited for the opportunity. It's a great opportunity, great people in this organization, and, really looking forward to working, obviously, with CJ. Tremendous talent, competitor. You talk about an ultimate competitor, tough, instinctive, can make plays. So I'm very excited. And as a, first-time coordinator, to answer your second part of the question, really excited to get an opportunity to evolve this scheme and put, it's not going to be my spin, it's going to be what's best for our players. And it's always going to be what's best for our players. No, we're not pounding a square peg into a round hole. It's going to be based on the strengths of our quarterback, the players, and the guys on this team. So that's what it will always be, designed around.
Nick, last year the Texans had a lot of protection issues, and you guys have elevated Cole. What can you do to protect Stroud and give him the kind of time that he needs?
Yeah, I think it all starts up front, obviously, and it's really all 11. I mean, we all got to be in sync, and I think protection starts, obviously, with communication, with trust and communication, cohesiveness up front, and really having clear, rules in the protection system. So we're gonna, we'll be going through that process. Obviously, I got a, history with Cole, dating back to my time in New England when he was our offensive line coach and I coached the tight end. So I have a really good working relationship and a level of trust with Cole. He's a very good football coach, and I'm excited to go through this process with him.
Nick Wilson from KPRC TV. Your coaching philosophy, how would you describe it? And to follow up, just kind of to the influences of the Bill Belichick's and Sean McVay's, maybe going back to JCU with Regis Gate.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Starting off, I mean, everything I'm going to, preach and we're going to preach here is going to be rooted in fundamentals. I think you look at every good play, it has good fundamentals. So we're going to start from the ground up, building fundamentals and getting repetitions and time on task with that. The things that I can take, had the opportunity to obviously come most recently with Sean in LA, have a tremendous amount of respect for him, learned a ton of football, from him, as well as obviously Coach Belichick with my time in New England. Invaluable experiences for me, and they're both rooted very similarly. Maybe different personalities and different ways of doing things at times, but it's fundamentals. It's not beating yourself. It's playing clean. It's controlling the line of scrimmage. That's the run game. That's pass protections, etc. And it's being a cohesive unit that takes care of the football. So, I mean, those are going to be the things that transcend any kind of scheme, any specific play. We're going to be fundamentally based and rooted in that.
Nick, Jonathan Alexander, Houston Chronicle. Nice to meet you again. A lot of people who work with you talked about how you waited for the right opportunity. Why, in particular, was this the right opportunity for you? Yeah, why do you feel like it was the right fit this time?
Because of the people. Starting from ownership, to Coach Ryans, to Nick, to the people, to the players, to the staff that we have here, I feel really convicted in that. And I think, you got to get the right people on the bus, and we have the right people on the bus, and I'm really excited about that.
DeMeco, two-part question. What kind of led you to land on Nick, and why did you feel like you guys had to make a switch and relieve Bobby of his previous duties?
Yeah, I talked to a lot of great people throughout this process, and just it was clear as I kept going through it, talking to people, and going through my process. It was very clear that Nick was the right guy for our team. Just with his energy, right, his leadership ability. I think with him being able to understand the run game, pass game, with him being in multiple schemes that were successful, understanding how to tailor the offense to the players that we have, that led me to Nick. And I feel really strong in my conviction that he can lead us and get us over the hump. Right? We've had a lot of good success these first 2 years, and the reason for doing it is I think there's another level that we can go to. And so I said earlier, it's my job to take this organization to new heights, and I think hiring Nick will help us to get there.
DeMeco, and welcome to town, Coach. I'm Kim Davis with Chalk Talk.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Two-part question. DeMeco, can you talk about what were you looking for? I know you talked to a lot of people, but when you started, what did you say, like, this is what this person needs to be able to do?
I went in with an open mindset, Kim, and I learned a lot from a lot of sharp coaches. I learned a lot just seeing how guys put things together, how guys adjusted and adapted to what they were from their schemes, what they were able to do. So I went in with an open mind, but also went in with the idea of the right person who can lead us, right, in the right direction, get everybody going in the same direction, can help our quarterback the most, help us with where we had our issues, of course, with our protection. We know we can clean that up. Just all a well-rounded football coach, right, and that's Nick. Nick has coached multiple positions. He's coaching on the defensive side. He understands how to attack schemes. He understands how to put guys in the right position. Right? Understand how to adjust it to make sure it's favored to our players and making sure they are able to accentuate their strengths. And that's what it was about for me.
Nick, if you could just describe yourself and your coaching style. I know you talked about fundamentals, but how would you describe yourself?
Yeah, passionate, high energy, relationship driven, getting to know the players beyond just the actual, performance on the field, getting to know what makes them tick and really investing in them as people to understand, how they operate and how you can help them and help them, reach and realize their potential. And I'm going to invest and I'm going to work hard and I'm going to bring a great energy and a great vibe every day. And I run where I'm going on the field. I move fast and I have fun. I love this,
How are you doing today, Nick?
Great, yourself?
Brian Bearford from Big Sarge Media. I have a two-part question, one for Coach and one for you, Nick. Coach, how apprehensive were you to hire another first-year offensive coordinator, first-time play-calling offensive coordinator?
Well, to me, there's always, everybody has their first time. I was a first-time play caller. Right? There are a lot of guys who have their first time, so I wasn't beholden to or nervous about hiring someone who was their first time, because it's about the person. And I think you get the right person to do the job, and I truly believe that Nick can do that. And it's play calling is also about who you surround yourself with. And I think, we have a really strong staff offensively and defensively. Surround ourselves with the right people who can help when it comes to calling it for the first time.
And Nick, you're coming from a situation with the Rams where you had two wide receivers in Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, two players who nobody really, was on anybody's radar coming out of college like that. You have that type of situation here with this wide receiver room. How do you get the best out of players like Xavier Hutchinson and John Mitch?
Yeah, I think you put them in positions to have success to surround, be in position to do what they do best. And I think the spring is also an opportunity for us to, you experiment with routes and you see what guys do and you refine certain skills. And I think everybody's got a little bit different skill set and try to maximize those guys and put them in the best positions to have success to help the team. And that's what I'll try to do here with this staff. We got a great staff. We got great players that are, going to work hard, and we'll go attack it here once we get the guys back.
Nick, Adam Wexler, Sports Talk 790. You spent 8 years with Coach Belichick, the last 2 with Coach McVay.
Yeah.
Could you pinpoint something you take from Coach Belichick and then take from Coach McVay? They're obviously very different.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that I could point to in both of those situations. But yeah, I think just going back in my time in New England, embracing your role, keeping your head down, working hard, and really the more you can do, the more value you have, and just there's no detail that's I would say too small. You turn over every rock. You try to find a way to give yourself an edge as a team through your players, through coaching, etc. And I would say thoroughness, attention to detail, accountability. That's what really stands to mind with Coach Belichick. Sean, same thing. Just the energy, the passion, the leadership. Obviously, both men are incredible football coaches. But you talk about the way he goes about the day in LA, the way he moves, the way he communicates, the way he invests, the way he pours into players. Those are just a few things about both those coaches that I've obviously taken along the way.
Nick, welcome. Greg Bailey from ABC here in Houston. Understanding it takes all 11 with protection.
Yep.
Specifically with the offensive line, what are the foundations in your coaching history that you'll lean on to get that group, to use DeMeco's term, to the next level?
Yeah. Well, with the offensive line, the quarterback, obviously the halfback, you got to be able to see the game through the same set of eyes, and you got to be going in the same direction, and you got to be tied together. And it starts with communication, and it starts with protecting inside out and establishing a pocket, the depth of the pocket, the width of the pocket. And that extends, obviously, into the tight ends, receivers, when you're chipping and stuff like that. But it does. It really starts inside out, and it starts seeing it through the same lens. And we all got to be coordinated in that.
If I could follow this real quick, is there any coach who's influenced your views of the offensive line?
Sure.
The experience that you have with that?
Yeah, Dante Scarnecchia. I was with Dave DeGuglielmo in 2015. Very good coach. Dante Scarnecchia, longtime New England coach, influenced a lot of what I've obviously learned up front in the protection systems, and then been a part of other ways of doing it too. But yeah, in terms of my the formative stages, it would be my early years in New England, obviously, with those two.
Hey, Nick, Sam Warren with the Houston Chronicle here.
Hi, Sam.
DeMeco has spoken about your ability to coach in different schemes, pulling
Yep.
from different areas. Just kind of in your first time calling plays, do you have an idea of where scheme-wise you're really going to be drawing on for building this offense and kind of where you're pulling from?
Sure, I think you have things, you have foundations and pieces that you want to hang your hat on. Obviously, I think again it's all about the players. There's different years, every year is different, so we're going to do it around the strengths of our players. But I want to obviously first start off establishing the run game. What is that going to look like? Well, it's going to be based on again what we do best, and we'll pave the way with that moving forward. Yeah.
I've got one more for DeMeco. How's it going, DeMeco? Just with the decision to retain Cole and promote him to offensive line coach, just kind of what went into that decision, and what's your confidence level on him, being a part of last year's staff, kind of fixing some of those issues that we're doing?
Getting Cole as our offensive line coach to lead that room, just having one voice to lead it, feel really strong about that. Cole helped a lot of our young players when it came to developing. He had a really great relationship with a lot of guys, and I think very highly of Cole and what he's able to do. And I think him having a prior relationship with Nick as well, and them being able to work together and them to hit the ground running instantly, I think that also led to my decision, and I know we'll be better for it.
Landry Locker, Houston Football, and the locker room. I got one for DeMeco and one for Nick. DeMeco, what was it like? This is the second time you've looked for someone to kind of oversee the offensive side of the ball. What was it like this time as compared to the first time when you hadn't been a head coach yet?
This time, this process, it's a little easier. I think knowing what I was looking for, and knowing what to look for after being a head coach for 2 years now, and seeing how we operate here, and it was an easier I guess, process for me. The first time around, becoming a head coach, it was very hectic. Trying to get a new staff, trying to put everything together, a lot more hectic this time. Just being able to take my time, not rush anything, but to think through it, get the right guy, talk to a lot of different people, right, to get a lot of input in what we were doing. So felt much more comfortable this time around.
And Dick, you said the scheme's going to be player-driven. A lot of talking points when you hire an offensive coordinator. Are they going to run the McVay scheme? Are they going to go back to the Patriots? How would someone like me describe the scheme if we were talking about it?
Yeah, it's going to be Houston's. It's going to be our scheme based on what we do, and I don't say that to throw any curveballs. It really is. I mean, my history dating back to when I first got into the National Football League under Coach Belichick is we were going to be a game plan team. If that meant we were going to run duo and gap schemes and run the ball 45 times to win the game, then that's what we were going to do. If we had to run more perimeter plays, wide zone, and we felt that was going to give us the edge, we were going to do that. It was all going to be based. We were going to ask our guys to do what they do well, but it was going to be based on what we do to help us win. And at the end of the day, we want to win, and that's priority for us.
And follow up, and watching last year and taking in all that information and approaching the offseason, is there anything that you think or any area of improvement that you think this offense needs to make to achieve those goals?
I would say this. I'm really only focused on moving forward, and each year is different. We're going to hit the time. We're going to get into free agency, draft, et cetera. We'll see how our team shapes up here in the next couple months, but we'll put our focus in that one day at a time as we put together our roster.
Having a weapon like Joe Mixon in the backfield, you talk about running the football, but specific to Joe, what are some of the skill sets you see from Joe and kind of the mentality he has as you plan things out?
Yeah, I love his mentality. I love the way he runs. I love the way he finishes. He's a violent runner on contact. He's competitive. I've admired him for a long, long time. So I'm really excited. He's a really good player, and I'm really excited to work with him.
On the tight end position, it was a spot that they made an investment in. Didn't really use the tight ends as much this past year. You have a long background with Rob Gronkowski and guys like that. What do you hope to do to get the most out of the tight end position, blocking and catching passes? Thank you.
Yeah, I love tight ends. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased there, but I think we got a great group of guys, smart, tough, competitive, and in my history, we've used a bunch of different guys in different roles, and I like tight ends.
Hi, Nick. Welcome to Houston. Chancellor Johnson. Question for both of you guys. DeMeco, I'll start with you. If there was one thing that you would specifically point to from the interview process that you walked away really impressed with Nick, what would that be?
The one thing that stood out to me was just his passion for the game of football. I want players, when I'm looking at players, evaluating players, I want players who love the game of football. Instantly, when you talk to Nick and you guys see it right here, he's passionate about football, and that's what's the one thing that stood out to me.
Thank you. And Nick, for you,
Yep.
coming into the situation and having CJ as your quarterback,
Yep.
What is it about him and his talent that might allow you to do some different things and be creative in that aspect?
Yeah, I mean he can spin it. He throws the ball. He's an accurate thrower of the football. He's a natural thrower of the football. He's instinctive. He's got the it factor, and he's a warrior in terms of his competitiveness. And I've admired him dating back to his college days. So I'm really excited to have an opportunity to work with him.
Nick Thompson, Texans Wire.
Hi.
Houston, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you
You've
too.
talked about in the past waiting for the right opportunity to come to Houston, or come become a play caller. But what sold you on Houston being the right fit for you specifically?
Yeah, again, the people, starting with Coach, ownership, Coach Ryans, to the people in this building, the coaching staff, Nick Caley. There's a lot of really good people, and they're aligned. And that's what is really intriguing to me, was really intriguing, and I'm excited to get to work with everybody here.
We got time for a few more. Question for DeMeco and Nick. First for DeMeco, obviously free agency is coming up and you have some pending free agents. Wondering about the potential of bringing a guy back like Stephon Diggs, and then for Nick, what type of players do you look for to build your offense around? What type of traits do they have? So if I could start with DeMeco first.
We won't get into specifics on free agents. That's a process that'll take its time, so I won't get into specifics on different guys.
And Nick, what type of traits do you look for in particular players?
Yeah, tough, unselfish, dependable guys that love to compete and love football. That will start there, and obviously extend to the specific skill sets at different positions, but want guys that love the game, that love to compete, you know, and you know, are good teammates.
We all know that CJ has a tremendous amount of time to coach for DeMeco, has a tremendous amount of talent. What specifically about Nick and his ability to design plays and call plays do you feel like we'll be able to get the best out of CJ? Because we all know what type of talent and what type of player CJ can be. What specifically about his play calling and his design and his scheme can help elevate CJ to that next tier of quarterback play?
You know, we all know CJ is a really great quarterback, right? So it's just about developing that relationship with CJ and also just putting CJ and everyone else around CJ in the best position possible for us to move the football down the field and score points. I think Nick is going to do a great job of that, building that rapport relationship with CJ. And yeah, I think CJ is already, you know, a great player. It's just getting everybody on the same page. As we talked about that communication, all 11 guys being on the same page. We do that, and instantly CJ will be better.
DeMeco, considering your relationship with Bobby, how hard was it for you to fire him?
Yeah, it was very hard to let Bobby go. Bobby's a really close friend, as you all know. Bobby's a great friend of mine. When I got into coaching, Bobby was the guy who helped me figure it all out. And we were QCs together there in San Fran, so really long relationship there with him. Nothing but love and admiration for Bobby and what he's done. I know he'll be a really good coach in this league as he continues to press forward in his career, and I wish him nothing but the best.
We're going to close with Christy saying sorry.
Nick, I wondered about your path into coaching. Did you always want to be a coach when you're growing up, and was there a certain coach or person in your life that kind of veered you towards this profession?
Yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I grew up in Canton, Ohio, 3 miles from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. High school football was big, 15,000, 12,000, 15,000. So about the age of 9, I knew I wanted to be a coach. And my dream early on was to be a high school football coach in Stark County, Ohio. Similar to Tom McDaniel's, Ben and Josh's father, I watched him at Camp McKinley as a kid growing up. So I've always wanted to coach. It's a part of my fabric of my life, and my dad took me to a lot of games as a kid. So, yeah.
I've got 2 questions for DeMeco. Nick's talked a little bit about the excitement about working with CJ. Was he involved at all in kind of the consultation of potential OCs and kind of involved in that decision on making the decision to bring Nick here?
I had to hire the OC.
And then second, we've seen Tank Dell make some recent public appearances. He seems like he's in good spirits. Do you have any updates on how he's doing in his recovery?
Tank is definitely in much better spirits, encouraged with his process and where he is. So I'm excited for Tank. It's great to see him just with that smile back on his face. We know he went through a devastating injury there. Hate to lose him, but he's on the right track. Right? We'll see where he ends up as he continues to progress through his rehab, but it's great to see that smile back on Tank's face.
Nick, you talked about, DeMeco, you've talked about the players, but can you talk about your relationship with Nick Caserio?
Yeah, I got a lot of respect. I mean, I came into the league in 15. I was hired by New England, and he was there in New England, and he's always been just a positive, sharp, organized mentor to me. Always did a great job leading and, have a high level of respect, very thorough, and, he's just a good sounding board as a young coach coming up too, and, I have a lot of respect for Nick.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Nice to meet you guys.
How Landry get 3 questions in a row? I know. What's going on, man?